22 LifePath, 22 LifePath. When we're talking about 22, we also are taking into consideration the 4 LifePath. This includes the heart soul urge as well. At the core of the 22 is the 4 energy. 4. This is an earthly disposition that the 22 has within the inner core. However, the earthly disposition has to ascend to a capacity that connects and gains access to water of the heavens. Similarly, as we think about the 11th master, the core is water. While it has to ascend to both fire and air. Fire being the one singular, the sun. 11 being Uranus or air, which is ethereal passion. So when we think about the 4, this person is centered within the earth tree. At the core of the self, they are centered within the earth tree. The earth tree includes Taurus of the 2nd house, Virgo of the 6th house, and Capricorn of the 10th house. This is the core of the 22. The core of the 22 has to develop through many karmic phases that helps them to begin identifying with their talents, strength, and capacity to also incorporate alien territories within their being. And those alien territories, as I said before, includes water. Behind that water is the 11, the fire and the air. So you have fire, the sun, you have air through the 11 and Uranus, and you have 22, which is a doubled lunar capacity, intuitive power. When we think about what the relationship of the sun and air and water and also earth, what occurs, we can understand how this masterful image manifests. The 22 represents the condensation and precipitation after evaporation. You see, the 11 is the process of evaporation. 22 is when that evaporation then condenses and then it precipitates. And where does it precipitate to? The earth. The earth. The earth. In a lunar sense, because we have day and night, this takes on the physical attributes and behaviors of the moon. in which the moon pulls the tides. It pulls the tides against the surface of the earth. And that earth being that number 4. The 2s of the 22 being the full moon capacity of the lunar consciousness that the 22 has. They have full moon capacity. It is always high tide with the 22. It is always full moon with the 22. The Master 22 is challenged with relating to water energies, which is the emotionalities of things. Because at the core of the 22 is very strong logic and rationale. The 22s usually manifest as left-handed individuals. And when you walk with the left hand, logic is how you relate to the world. However, our world is partially understood through logic. The 22 you will find, just like the Virgo tends to say, or other earth signs who tend to say, especially the left-handed, all you had to do was such and such. Well, why did you do it that way? You could have done it this way. That left hand is always seeing the other side of what the common man or woman perceives, challenging the rationale and logic of all of those around them. This can really work against you. It can have you walking around arrogant, insensitive, incapable of seeing your own imperfections and shortcomings. It can have you to underestimate others. It can have you to underestimate the value and qualifications of others, the talents and gifts of others, the capacity of others, to terribly underestimate. If math cannot explain it, if logic cannot explain it, it just doesn't make sense. This is the immature phase, the undeveloped phase of the 22. However, it is also the disposition of the number 4. Logic cannot explain all things. We hear many judgmental statements, well, why would he do that if this? Well, that's just dumb. Why would she do something like that when they have this, or it's like that, or it's like this? Having the short sight of thinking that formula can explain the behavior of man and woman, while it cannot. Because with formula, there are missing values and there are missing factors. What I mean by missing values and missing factors is there is always mystery of the heart. And you have to take into consideration many details of the mystery of heart and how an equation manifests and unfolds. Physics is subject to logic. not spirit. And that is what the 4 struggles to understand about life. That is what the 22 struggles to accept about their calling. The calling has them to accept the fact that there is a wisdom that transcends the laws of physics. There is a perception that transcends the laws of physics. There are explanations that go beyond the capacity of physics, and it is as local as your own heart. It is as local as your own brother and sister's heart. Physics can only do but so much to explain what you're getting from the heart, what you're getting from the soul. The 22 has to learn to expand their understanding beyond the laws of reason, rationale, and physics. So for this reason, if you have a LifePath 22, you will have to take 4 energy, or the like of 4 energy, and you will have to receive precipitation. You will have to receive water. In receiving precipitation, receiving water, what happens when Earth receives water? It gets muddy, doesn't it? And when it gets muddy, it is essentially losing its structure. It's losing its form. If the number 4 loses structure or loses form, they panic. And that structure and form is manifest through their ability to maintain or establish control and order. Their ability to remember numbers, the ability to remember measures, the ability to have spatial awareness, the left-handed gift and talent of photographic memory, the ability to know how to name all things. They know the proper name, the proper terminology for all physical things in life. What the 4 doesn't understand and what the 22 struggles to learn is that everyone is not designed that way. And those who are not designed that way are not inferior to you. They are not lesser than you. They are not lacking in intelligence in comparison to your capacity. You have the ability to name things. You have the ability to remember terminology. That is an earth trait at your core. Adam was formed from mud. He was fashioned from clay. And just like Adam, you were given the ability to name all things. The number 4 energy of the 22, it places all of its confidence in these capabilities, in these faculties. If someone gives me the right term for something, I will remember it. I will not forget it. However, the air or the water or even the fire is usually not the fire, usually the air or the water, okay? You will give them the right terminology for a thing, but for them, the meaning is what's important. The value is in, okay, what does that thing do? And they will understand what that thing does. So, the person who says, hey, hand me that metal, that small metal thing right there. Okay? The 22 who carries the 4 energy will say, oh, you mean that adjustable wrench? Yeah, the adjustable wrench. So the other person doesn't know that that's the proper name for it, or they may forget that that's the proper name for that physical object. Number 4, physical object. Okay? Because they are not close to the physical object. They are not made from the image and likeness of the physical object because they do not come from earth. The 4 comes from earth. Understand? In a metaphysical or esoteric sense. Okay? Follow me. 4 vibration. You are physical objects. So you know their names. All right? So the 4 will make the mistake of thinking that the person who doesn't know the terminology lacks competence. They will make the mistake of thinking that they don't understand something that they really do. And it's going to manifest in your behavior, in your demeanor, in your attitude. And then people around you are going to feel small. They're going to feel insulted. They're going to feel intimidated. They're going to feel dumb. They're going to feel like, you know what? I'm just not going to say anything else. Because they struggle to imitate your faculty of being able to remember the terminology for all things as a 22 or 4. Okay, that's galvanized steel. Okay, that's high vanadium, bolt. The technicalities. 16 penny nails. Okay, the technicalities. Technicalities. The 4 is good with the technicalities. Remembering things that have terms and names. Now, I want you to follow me here. The difference with this is like the axis of Gemini and Sagittarius. Gemini knows the details of things, but Sagittarius has the expansive view. Gemini will look at Sagittarius like, you're not very bright because you should know the name of these things. You should know what these things are. You should know these details. And Sagittarius will look at Gemini like, you're not very bright because you're so fixated on that small circle that you have been concentrating so hard on, but there's this big expansive view beyond which you have even turned left or right to even notice. So guess what? Both of them are right. And what the number 22 has to learn throughout their life, through crisis, through karma, is that just because you know the term for something and the other person doesn't mean that they don't understand how to use it, how to do it. It doesn't mean that they're incompetent. It simply means they don't know the term for it. They don't have the terminology in them. They don't have the ability to remember the terminology for all of these things, but they know how to do it. They are still masters. The number 4 knows the name of every part on a car, the proper name, proper terminology for everything that they want to fix or everything that they want to build. They know the proper terminology. There is proper terminology to go with every skill and craft. The 4s move throughout these type of worlds. Rather you're doing hair, rather you're fixing cars, rather you're a carpenter, you know all the terminology. But you can have a person who doesn't know the terminology and they will work circles around you. They will show you masterful work. Because the difference is you know the term, but they know the meaning. You know the term, but they also understand what it can do and what it can't do and what it's supposed to do. So the competence of others can be underestimated or overlooked at times with that number 4. So I think I've made that point. Let me move on from that. The 22 has to take this 4 energy and receive water. This means that you are at the process of creation where, okay, there's earth, there's water, there's air, there's a sun, right? Now it's time to actually see the cycle of this process. The cycle. So 22 represents the cycle of elements of life, of how they all relate together. Okay? The water evaporates into the air. That's number 2 to the 11. Right? When you get the precipitation, that's the 22 precipitating down to the earth. So what you have to learn is to take 22 energy, 2 energy from yourself and from others, and convert it back into a physical manifestation. Something tangible, something that we can hear, feel, see, experience. But first you have to be able to relate to 22 energy, air energy, water energy, without offense, without anger, without hatred, without frustration, without condescent, without insult. The earth has to relate to the water that's fallen from heaven, and you have to get muddy to do that. And the mud is when the earth loses its form. But the opportunity is in that. The opportunity in that situation, okay, of the water to the earth, are countless. Countless opportunity. What are the benefits of water and earth? It can cause seeds to crack and grow. It can cause roots to absorb nutrients. It can soften so that it can be molded and shaped, fashioned, or manipulated in other ways in order to produce something that comes from intent. But when there's no water in the earth, it is stubborn. It's dry. And even it has its benefits. You don't want to build something on mud. You need a solid surface. There's benefits to all forms of earth. But the 22 is when earth meets water. And all of the possibilities that occur when earth meets water. So some of you 22s out there, your south node is coming from Virgo. You're a master. I'm talking about the heart soul urges more than anything right now. Okay? Your south node is coming from an earth sign. Let's say your south node is coming from Virgo. You have this stubbornness about you, where you insist on perfection, and you have this permanence of dissatisfaction in what you produce and what others produce. And you feel the impulse to have to control everything and everyone. But what you're being called to is water this time around. You already formed your earth into a masterpiece. And what I mean by form your earth, you form your consciousness into the capacity to produce perfection. But what comes after perfection? Now that you have reached perfection in that aspect of yourself, what brings you to furtherance beyond that perfection? Guess what that is? Only chaos can give you continuance. Once you have perfected something, you need chaos to break down the order of perfection so that you can renew perfection. That is called a life pulse. Anything that is living is subject to change. If you're not subject to change, you don't have a pulse. You can't be stubborn. You have to surrender to the chaos of water, the loosening agency of water, the fluidity of water, the surrender of water, the emotional vulnerability of water, the transparency of water, the flow, letting go, the flow of water. You have to get in touch with your emotions. And you have to get in touch with others' emotions. You have to see that your furtherance is in your emotions and it is in others' emotions. And you are not here to serve yourself. You're here to serve them because you're a master. You're here to teach them how to master what is in their heart and mind, because you already understand how to master what is in your heart and mind. So the objective is not for you to push the inferior aside, to push who you think is the ignorant aside, to push who you think is incompetent aside. No, because that is not the objective. The objective is not for you to form perfection again. It's for you to observe the imperfection of others and see that there is perfection in that chaos, because it continues your perfection to meet it, because it breaks you down so that you can recreate perfection in ways that your consciousness does not have the capacity to grasp for, because chaos comes from the darkness. And what comes from the womb, you do not get to see that process. It is a place of mystery. So all of the things that you think you know and that you think you understand through chaos, you will find that even though you are a master in this universe, you are still a student. Even though you have perfected a certain algorithm in your consciousness, you will see that what there is to learn is still vast. And the same one next to you who you thought was incompetent has a lot to teach you about water, even though you are a master of earth. It's time to learn water. And the people around you are teaching you water, initiating you into water, guiding you through water, showing you how to let go, showing you how to trust, showing you how to flow, showing you how to blend in and accept the imperfections of the flow of water, to see the beauty in it. And once you surrender that, you will find new capacity for inspiration, because only inspiration can further your creativity and innovation. You can't receive inspiration if you can't get water. Chaos has inspiration for you, The water has inspiration for you. And this is how you use your creative potential, your innovative potential to produce masterful art, masterful production. You receive it from the chaos of water. The emotional consequences of others, the emotional consequences of yourself. The point is not for you to break the car down and build it back up because you know you're a master. The point is for you to observe those who don't know how to do that and see what you learn about your emotions as you see them struggle with it, and you guide them without condescent, without insulting them, without underestimating who they are and what they are here to teach you. The point is not for you to go to the hair studio and perfect every hairstyle. No, this is how you do it. Through chaos, you get ideas, realizations of how you can expand your perfection to new territories. Chaos is the only thing, the darkness is the only thing that has renewal for us. We cannot get renewal out of order. We cannot get renewal out of divine masculine. You get renewal out of divine feminine. The chaos of divine feminine, the darkness of divine feminine. That is where the new material of the universe is received. Many explosions took place in this universe and pushed its energies outward. And many of those forces were with material. And those materials took form under the power and authority of the Elohim, the Orishas, the seven spirits of form. In other words, material is subject to the laws of physics. And if it is subject to the laws of physics, it sooner or later is subject to order. However, it started with chaos and it started in darkness. Darkness has material, dark matter. Chaos has potential and possibility. So that new forms will always have infinite potential. And your mastery is your ability to apply form from the mind into the physical reality. That is what your mastery is. But where are you going to get new material and new ideas to expand your mastery? Divine feminine, darkness, and chaos. Through water energies. Practicing surrender. Not being afraid of the illogical territories of water. The irrational territories of water. The abstract forms of chaos and the feminine. You can't be afraid of these things if you are going to expand and go further, because it is your only hope to continue your mastery. The four is used to being able to gauge and read and exact control over the environment through its ability to relate to logic through physics and reasoning and rationale and the predictability that comes along with that, as well as the ability to relate to terminology. But I'm here to say that terminology is record of all that we know exists. But divine feminine chaos, the water forces, water energy, the emotions, including the astral body. These are places where terms have not classified the material that is moving. Terms have not been identified and associated with the characteristics and forms that are coming out of the darkness. So the four knows what has already come out of the darkness and been subjected to the laws of physics and has been given name and classification. That is what you are a master of already with that number 4 energy. But the 22 asks you to surrender to the fact that you will never have terms for what comes out of chaos. You have to wait till it comes out. You have to study it. You have to understand it. And then you name it. And this is part of the fulfillment of what God told Adam, which was to name all things. You cannot name all things if you are not participating in the continuum of time. Remember that Adam is subject to the continuum of time as long as Saturn has evolved. And with him being subject to the continuum of time, for him to be told to name all things has not come into existence yet. It can only come into existence through chaos. Years ago, we didn't have an iPhone. Years ago, we didn't have an Android. Years ago, we didn't have the internet. Years ago, we didn't have Instagram. Years ago, we didn't have medications, synthetic medications. Years ago, we didn't have cars. We didn't have airplanes. So how do you name all things as long as there is a time continuum? You have to wait until these things come out of chaos. And when it comes out of chaos as raw materials of the essence of what it is, which represents Pisces, and you intuit the meaning and value of it, Cancer, these are number 2 themes. Now you have new terms because there are new things that you've learned from the chaos. And with those new things, you now can apply your ability, your capability, your capacity to master what you know and understand about it. So the people around you who you may feel are quite chaotic, undone, messy, emotional, irrational. Oh, I don't get these people. They are the dark recesses of the universe, the deep space that you have not traveled yet. You have not reached the end of the universe. So as long as you have not reached the end of the universe, you have not reached the understanding of the potential or capacity of the people who are around you who have not reached the level of mastery yet of 22. Therefore, be humble, be humble, be humble with your power. You are in deep space as long as you're around water energy. It's the same as a man with a woman. That 4 is a masculine energy because it's order. It's subject to order and stability. That's what the 4 represents. And that 22 represents an intensification of feminine energy, intuition, emotionality, water. When a man is in his right mind, he is in order and stability. When a woman is in her right spirit, she still manifests chaos And chaos is not something that we ought to understand as a vice. It is unpredictable and uncontrollable impulses of energies at frequencies undetermined that causes the infinite principle to remain consistent throughout time. So without the woman there is no continuance and expansion of the possibility of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, even existence in the time continuum. That is the expression of the womb. So it is a glory that God fashioned Adam with his own hands. But what good is that if there is no womb to continue him? And that is the difference with the 4 and the 22. It is beautiful that you have mastery over what you know of this physical realm. But the 22 is the womb in which you can go and rebirth that identity of yours as master from chaos and darkness. There's nothing to celebrate of your mastery if there's no continuance. How do we celebrate what we have accomplished in a lifetime? You're sitting on your deathbed. You bought in billions of dollars, hundreds of properties. Your name is spoken all over the world. But if you don't have a woman who can reborn you, what good is it? It really means nothing. Because you will fade away with time. A very short time, you will fade away in the memory of others. You will never be known again. So it's wonderful as a master, you know how to break a car down and put it right back together where every bolt is screwed. You can run a hair show like no other. You are a master of the physical realm. You prove it time and time again, but without chaos. You have no woman to let you live again. Understand that. That 22 is the woman that allows you to live again. That 4 has no legacy without the 22. The 4 has no continuance without the 22. Even when we are not even talking about children. A woman's presence, it challenges the order that a man has established with himself and in his life. There's opportunity in this. She challenges your values, she challenges your morals, she challenges your principles, and she does so without even having to step into her intentionality to accomplish this, because it is her nature to do so. Because it teaches you to perfect your image in your own values and identity. Her chaos through her nature causes you to break down orders that you have in order to see new possibilities of order and expansion that you can have. When you look into the darkness, your eyes will twist and turn because you can't lock in on an object. You can't see nothing. That's a woman. That's the mystery of a woman, the chaotic element, the chaotic principle. You do not have the power of predictability to name all things when it comes to the woman. You have to wait till it comes out. You study it, you understand it. It makes you wiser. It expands your consciousness, and you also have new terminology for what came out of that chaotic principle. And what I'm referring to in association with this is the behavior of females around men. It could drive us crazy sometimes, just like we could drive y'all crazy. Our order can disturb you, and your chaos can disturb us. Yep, 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 yep. Oh, we want to go here, you want to go there? Oh, maybe we go over here. You want to go here, you want to go do this, you want to go do that, you want to go do this? No, I want to sit the fuck right here. I want to be quiet. I want to enjoy myself. And I don't even want to talk. That's how we are as men. But a woman, she always got to go somewhere. And she always got to spend money when she go. Is this all women? No. All right? So I don't need the dickhead in the back. Oh, not every woman. Please shut the fuck up and sit down. All right? Everybody got 10 fingers, right? Oh, I know somebody who has 12 fingers. Yeah, good for you, dickhead. All right? Fucking Jesus. So the 22, if your life path is 22, it's going to consist of you getting orientated with chaos and subjecting it to order. Emotional chaos. Right? Emotional chaos. Also, ideas. Ideas. Dreams. Okay? Air and water. Okay? Air and water. So, you're dealing with air and water combinations. Steam. Vapor. Smog. And you are the earth that is hosting the water, the steam, the smog. Because ultimately what you have to learn how to do is use your gift to serve humanity. Humanity is full of ideas. People are full of ideas. And it is chaotic when it is up in the heaven as a cloud. You look up at the cloud and there is an abstract piece of art above our head. That is a 22. It is abstract art. You're laying there and you're looking up in the cloud. One cloud looks like a fish. One cloud looks like a horse. Oh, look at that cloud. It looks like a man. Oh, look at that cloud. It looks like a house. Okay? So this ethereal energy that is mixing with emotional intuition and emotional loads of both positive and negative frequencies. You have to move through these things and you have to understand how to incorporate it into the characteristics of Earth, how it is to work with Earth. In other words, how do I take this person's dream and make it a reality? This person's ideas and make it a reality. You have the power of Uranus at your disposal through that 4 as well. Because 4 does go with Uranus. Masters go with Uranus. Uranus is about innovation. You innovate at mastery. Uranus is the force of genius. Masters are genius in their right. Therefore, through Uranus. So the crisis with humanity is, how do I enter Earth with this burden? And that's the same crisis with what you see in the heavens. How do I enter earth with this burden? Because the air is pushing the clouds up. It's pushing the vapor up. It's holding the precipitation like a load, like a burden. And that burden wants to come down to earth through gravity. So their ideas want to come down and take form and shape through the laws of physics, through the principles and values of mathematics and material. And you, with the number 4, are a master of the material realm. And being a master of the material realm, you know how to take ethereal energy, clouds, water, vapor, and you know how to release that burden so that it drops down to the earth. You know how to make the rain dance. You know the rain dance. You know the sacred rain dance to make that water come down to earth. When the water meets with the earth, you have change, transformation, and the opportunity for manipulation of earth, which is manipulation of physics and laws. Whatever ideas a person has, the 22 knows how to make it manifest into a physical form. This person is talking about the life story, you know how to turn it into a movie. This person is talking about how they struggle with being ashamed of how they look in a certain way. You know how to turn it into a perfect dress. You know how to turn it into the perfect outfit. We have a crisis at the border. We have a political heightened tension going on in the world today. We have a lot of homelessness, poverty increase. There's so many problems and troubles in the world that 22 knows how to take the tears of the people, the cries of the people, the needs of the people, the demands of the people, the stories of the people, the narrations of the people, and turn it into physical, tangible solutions, something that everybody needs. That is manifesting Aquarian aspects through Earth, uranium aspects through Earth. This is a Uranus Earth expression. Genius with material in the physical realm. Oprah Winfrey is at 22. Will Smith is at 22. Kim Kardashian is at 22. Well, I don't know if that's a good example of 22. Shit. We get off that. "22 LifePath." The point, again, is to get in touch with your emotional side, to get in touch with others' emotional sides, to get in touch with your imagination, to get in touch with the imagination of others, to see the importance of the let go, to see the importance of chaos, to see the importance of potential, to see the blessings and potential in not knowing things. Not knowing things. Knowing how to listen to the complaints and cries and woes of others, because it is where you will draw inspiration, motivation from, to create yet again, to innovate yet again. It will come from that, not from your own formed ideas. Your formed ideas are antiques. They're antiques. And if you don't want to rust away like an antique, you got to open up emotionally. The more you open up emotionally, the more abundance you will have access to express your mastery over and over and over again. And what I mean by express it is show and prove that you are master over and over again. And see how it benefits and changes the lives of so many, because you are meant for the global arena. The global arena. You are meant for the world. That's who the masters are here for. They are here for the world. That's who you're supposed to touch and reach and inspire. The world with the 22. If you are left hands out there, get in touch with your irrational side, your illogical side. Know that there are explanations that go beyond your fixation to rationale and logic. When you struggle to understand matters of the heart, people don't want to confide in you. People don't want to tell you their secrets. People don't want to tell you their business. People don't want to tell you the truth. There was an old man I was working with before, and he was frustrated on the phone, with his daughter. And he hung up the phone and he confided in me and he said, I don't know why everybody always lie to me. He said, man, my wife be lying to me, my daughter lie to me, my grandkids be lying to me, everybody, they always lie to me. He beat the table with his hand, they always lie to me. So I finished my sandwich, listening, to him here and out. I simply said to him, do you show them that you can handle the truth if they was to tell you the truth? And I paused. He got quiet. That's why I paused. See, when he got quiet, I knew a light bulb turned on. And I didn't want to disturb that holy moment. You understand? So I continued later on when we picked up on that conversation. When you're overbearing, when you act like you can't handle the truth, when the truth sets you on fire, you just go up in a rage, you start judging and criticizing and spazzing out on people. I mean, you just go DEFCON on niggas. Right? People are gonna lie to you. You always gonna get lied to. People gonna lie to you all the time. When you making a big deal out of every goddamn thing, people always gonna lie to you. Well, you know what that's called? That's called being overbearing. That's called overbearance. The fall can be overbearing. When you are overbearing, you don't get the gift out of people. They withhold their gifts because they feel like they're going to be judged through that line of creativity. They feel like they're going to be judged through that line of unpredictability. So you have statues around you. You got cardboard cutouts around you. You got stiff trees around you. And they talk behind your back. They lay you low behind your back. Secretly, they hate you. You'll get compliance, but you won't get gift. And when people withhold their gifts from you, you're fucked in life. Because you'll never know who is really around you. You'll never know. That left hand can be so critical and judgmental of others. That left hand can be so condescending. Instead of giving somebody an answer when they ask a question, you turn to condescend. Well, you know such and such, so why would you ask me that? Or, well, why would you do it like that? All you had to do was condescend. You create, let me not say that. See, I have to correct myself too in live time. What's more appropriate to say is, you have the potential through that left hand to create a hostile learning environment. You have the potential to be master and be surrounded by disciples and to inspire the love out of them, in which then you will see the gifts in each person that you can nurture, and you will also be inspired in turn of that. You will be replenished because they will pour into you the same way that you pour into them. They'll give it right back. Okay? But when you create a hostile learning environment, nobody wants to open up. You get secrets all around you. Somebody breaks something, they're going to hide it. Somebody makes a mistake, they're going to try to play it off and cover it up instead of inquire on how they could have did better next time, because you're so condescending and judgmental. People stop asking questions because you're so arrogant. You're full of yourself. You have a blind spot, and that you put all your eggs in one basket in your mastery in the physical realm, the realm of logic and terminology, not knowing that those who do not have mastery in logic and terminology may be just as wise as you. The only difference is they don't know the term and you do, but yet they know how to do the same thing. You also may understand the physics of life, the logic of life, but for some reason, mysteriously, you lack access to the heart of those who love you. You lack access to the understanding that's needed between you and others who are key in your life. But yet these other ones can teach you how to get to the heart of others, how to heal your relationships with yourself and others through that water. Because water is salvation. And that number 4 struggles with access to the realms of salvation. So the conceit of the 11 and the number 4 vibration and that 22, especially that 22, that conceit and arrogance and hyper independence, the controllingness, condescent, it spells a lot of missed opportunities for you if you're not careful. If you're not careful. Because salvation is through the water. It's not through the earth. And you may be dealing with someone who can give you access to initiation into your own salvation, because water is something that you don't understand very well, but they do. So just like you understand the realm of physics and logic, and they understand the realms of spirit and essence and water territories, doesn't that make you even? Doesn't that make you even? They need you to initiate them into the discipleship and manifesting the ideas that they have. Okay? But you need them to initiate you into the realm of salvation that I know you crave. I know you want salvation. 22. I know you want salvation. Number 4. I know you want salvation. Left hand. And through water, you come to learn what you were longing for all along, and that there was more to learn than what you mastered. The 22 has a beautiful disposition about being reasonable in things. There's no better person to ask on how to go about doing something, how much material is needed, how long something's going to take, what manpower is required, the intricate details, the strategy, the plan, the foundation. And when 22 energy is down your life path, it's time to get into that water. It's time to reach for your salvation. And reaching for your salvation is an even exchange. It's an even exchange. Your service in return for salvation. Relinquishing your fears of the waters, of a world where you don't have control, of a world where you can't have terminology for everything. You don't know the word for everything in the water. Everything in the water has not been named yet. And that's a different world. You're not used to that world, that there's not a term for everything in the water. You are not used to that world. It scares you. And it amazes you how people can walk and dwell in a world where there's not names for everything. There's not measures for everything. There's not even a description for everything in the water. Water energy cannot be fully known. It cannot be fully understood. It cannot be fully comprehended. It cannot be fully controlled. It cannot be subdued. No, it is water. It is salvation, and it is for all who come and seek it. It is mysterious, and it will remain mysterious, unlike the physical realm. It's a world you're not used to. The 22 is amphibious, going from land into sea. Retrieving from the water and bringing it to land, retrieving from the land and bringing it to the water. You are a ebb and flow of tide. That 22. If you're called to that from that 22, yes, you got it down packed in this world. Now it's time to go to a world that you may not understand. Let me tell you something. You know, personal twists. I named one of my sons based off of this same principle, the 22 and the 4. There's a story in the Holy Quran, and if you want to look it up, it's in Surah Al-Kahf, which is spelled Khaf, okay? And in this surah or chapter, there's a story of one called Musa, not Mansa Musa. Musa meaning Moses. And Musa was learned, educated in the highest universities, finest schools, so knowledgeable, religious knowledge. I mean, he was a master of the physical realm, ninth house. And being a master of the physical realm, of that competence, he asked Allah, he said, is there any in the land who is more knowledgeable than me? This is what he asked Allah. And Allah replied to him and simply told him, I have someone for you to meet at the parting waters. At the parting waters. And the one who he would meet, his name was Khadr. Al-Khadr, the green one. Okay? Al-Khadr, the green one. Others say Khidr, but most pronunciations I've heard is Al-Khadr. Okay? Khidr. Okay? Al-Khadr, the green one. So he went to the parting waters as Allah instructed him. And at the parting waters, he met with Al-Khadr. And long story turned short, his worldly knowledge met with sacred wisdom. And it's a beautiful story because we all have a blind spot, especially the more confident we get as we gain mastery in what's before us. It's like that Gemini blind spot. Because that Gemini energy concentrates in the details of something. But that Sagittarius energy is the expanded view of things. And they are equal. They are equal. Gemini thinks Sagittarius is missing the details, and Sagittarius thinks Gemini is missing the expanded view, the big picture. And they both are right at the same time. Both of them are correct. And this shows and proves that in this life, we need each other. We need each other. Somebody always has what you don't have, but you need it. We need each other. We all are incomplete without each other. We're here to learn from each other, exchange. Understand that. Understand that. That 22, precipitation. What happens when water meets with earth? Transformation takes place. It becomes malleable. You can mold it. You can form it into anything you want. It can get messy, but a little more water, it can wash off too. The point and value is not to do it yourself. The point and value is to understand that this manifests the Fool card. The Fool card. And it just so happens that the Fool card is what? 22 in the deck of the Archon? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, right? The Fool card. When you go on a fool's journey, this represents Uranus and Sagittarius themes. That 22 has to approach the fool's journey. You have to go on a journey in which you don't know the answers. You don't have the terminology for it. You don't have control over it. How does a 22 function in an abstract world of water? It's just like, how does a man relate to a woman? She's of abstract frequencies. He's direct current. She's alternating current. Is one better than the other? No. Chaos is our only hope for furtherance. What comes to order must break down so that there could be new order, so there could be innovation. Innovation is the principle of Uranus. It is also the principle of Aquarius, in which Uranus and Aquarius is the energy of mastery in and of itself. That's what innovation is all about. Innovation and creation are not the same. The creative principle is number one. The innovative principle is the 22. The number one represents the sun, Leo. What's the polarity of Leo? Aquarius. You see, that's the 1 and the 11. Aquarius. Because the 1 represents the sun. So Leo represents creativity. Aquarius represents innovation. Innovation is how we perfect a creation. It's how we master creative pursuits through innovation. Yesterday, the airplane was created. But today, the creation of airplanes has been innovated into the levels of mastery. Yesterday, the internet was created, right? But today, the internet has been innovated into levels of mastery to where now we are looking at quantum computers. Innovation is in the realms of mastery. Chaos has to be incorporated in that. Now, Uranus representing Shango. Shango had several wives. Among his wives was Oya. Who is Oya? That's Pluto, right? Pluto is transformation, right? Pluto is transformation. This gives us the understanding that Uranus and Pluto, this is a couple. The energies harmonize. Innovation and transformation. It harmonizes. Just as his second wife, Oshun or Venus, right? Desire. The astral body and that which we innovate. She represents the preference. Anything that steps into the realm of preference is luxury, which oscillates between Taurus and Scorpio axis, luxury. Now we're back at, again, Pluto and Venus, which is married to who? Uranus. You see how that works? Physics is physics. Truth is truth. Understand that. So, got the 22. We got the 4, order, stability. Number 4, earth energy. Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. These are strong stallions in the 4. These are strong stallions in the 22. However, with the 22, your emphasis, your destiny is in the water, not in the earth. Your seat is in the earth, but the destiny is in the water. Understand that. So you got to rise to the water. And in the water, you don't get to control. You don't get to rule. In the water, you don't know the name of all things. And you have to step into the spirit of humility to become a student. Because although you are a master, you must remain a student in the water. Because as long as you are a student in the water, your mastery will continue. That's a riddle to figure out. Now, last but not least, let's talk about how to use this perfection of the 22, right? Let's talk about how to use this. Now, in the physical realm and in a logical sense, your consciousness, it has a level of mastery to where you know how to manipulate the physical realm and environment and matters of earth themes. For example, with Capricorn, it could be of matters of enterprise, okay? With Virgo, with themes of well-being, care, health, okay? Hygiene, okay? Things of that matter. And with Taurus, with finances, luxury, materials, fashion, okay? Housing market, real estate, all right? So you have mastery in these areas with how to manipulate these things. Also, I forgot to mention anything of crafts or trades, blue collar, as well, all right? Anything with materials, building, fixing things, all right? Now, you have perfection here and mastery. The problem is that the natural human being, they have a chaotic storm in their mind where they cannot articulate what it is that they want to create or make or bring into existence. They want a particular type of house for the unique type of family that they have. They got 13 kids, 5 goats, and 6 wives. You understand? So, but they don't want to be around, a bunch of people, but yet they want to be remote to the school, yada, yada, yada. You know how to articulate everything that's in the heart and mind. So that's why you are being given access to the 22 so that you can relate to the water and the ethereal. So you can relate to the emotions of the person being projected. And so you can relate to the intellectual storm that the person is having and bring it into existence. So the 22 is there to learn how to help those who are in the water to come to the surface of the earth. He's there to catch those who are out on the boat and show them to the earth. You see, the water energy of the 22 is shapeless and formless, and it's looking for shape and form. 22 being of water and air energy, mostly water, okay? We're thinking about the Pisces energy that finds its form in the Virgo energy. This is the 12th house and 6th house axis. When you have an impulse in the 12th house, which is a subconscious of any kind of load, be it good or be it bad, be it negative or positive, it's going to take shape and form in the earth or 6th house, which is your daily activities, your daily experiences, as an open enemy or open companion. So the 22 is a Piscean energy that's looking for the 4, which is earth energy, to manifest itself into existence, having form, nature, and name. So the 22 is trying to listen for the nature of what's being described or the nature of what's being attempted. And you are there as the expert of what form goes with that nature and what terminology describes that nature. Water works off of symbols, not terms, but you have to convert the symbol into term. So that's your job as a 22-4. So you carry the 4 already, but you have to learn symbols in life. And symbols don't have one meaning. Symbols don't have a single classification. It is vast and expansive because it's still traveling through deep space. Symbols travel through deep space, and you will not contain symbols. Terminology is when you take what is traveling deep space and you bring it to form, physicality. You understand? So 22, again, I may sound like a broken record, all right? But I don't think you will mind. What you're here to do is to articulate what others can't articulate, as from water to earth, as from thoughts and concepts into forms, practices, projects, okay, establishment. That's what you're here to do. Turn the ethereal into something that has representation. You are here to give, to answer the call of spirits that want to take forms and shape in the existence of life, because you know how to give everything a name, a term, a classification, a form, an image, a shape, an order. You know how to do that. The average person walking the earth don't know how to do that. That's your alchemy. You are the alchemist in that sense. So people come to you all the time down that life path 22. Hey, I just can't this and this just won't go right and I just want to, and you know how to articulate what they can't articulate. They're confused. You know the right words. Uh-huh. Okay, you're looking for balance. Okay, you're looking for convenience too. Okay, so you want to be close to the transit, is what you're saying. Okay, and you want to end it. So you hear them crying about, oh, and it take me 5 hours to get to work, and then I got to go through this and that, and you break it down to simple terms. Okay, so what you're saying is you don't want to have to commute so far to work. Oh, okay, got you. Anything else? So you simplify the complicated. All right? They're all over the place as an abstract art, and you turn it into an intelligible art. Something that can be comprehended, something that can be named and classified. Understand that. So that's 22.4. You heard? Let's go.